The last time these two teams met back in 1982.
Raul Alegre all set to kick off for the Colts. Kick is short to Gary Ellerson at the 16-yard line. Ellerson is hit at the 27-yard line, and that's where Green Bay will take over. First and 10. Tackle made by Anthony Young. So the Packers, after their embarrassing loss to the Chicago Bears on Monday night, come out with Lynn Dickey, Jesse Clark, Eddie Lee Ivory, James Lofton, who's caught 23 passes in the last 3 games, and Philip Epps. An offensive line that, quite frankly, has had a lot of problems this year, giving up 27 quarterback sacks. That's been the sore point for the Packers. First and 10 for Green Bay. Lynn Dickey. Eddie Lee Ivory, the sole setback. And Eddie Lee gets the first call. Eddie Lee gets across the 30 to about the 31-yard line before it's tackled by Dwayne Bickett. The defensive alignment for the Colts. Up front, Thompson, White, Chris Scott getting his first start. The linebacking core that has 3 first-round draft choices in Cooks, Krause, and Bickett, but Odom leads them in tackles, and that's a good group there. And the secondary that, quite frankly, has been getting better and better and better every week. Pick up 4 yards on the play. It is 2nd and 6. Ball at the 32-yard line. A toss back to Eddie Lee Ivory. Trying to get around the corner. And Eddie Lee gets to the 34-yard line. Preston Davis makes the tackle.
And Jim, you get a feeling, talking to both teams, that the Packers are very confident, even though they lost to the refrigerator in Chicago on Monday night. Whereas the Colts are wondering who they are. They're coming off a loss to Buffalo, a team they felt they should have beaten. So it's going to be interesting to see how the teams play. Packers confident, Colts questioning themselves.
Well, Lynn Dickey told us yesterday that he knows that the Packers should win this ball game, but he doesn't want the Mules to know they're supposed to win. Because if the Mules know it, then they're going to lay down and have a very difficult time. 3rd and 3. Dickey. And it's intercepted. This is Eugene Daniel. Still on his feet. He loses the ball, but the Colts recover. Recovered by Preston Davis.
Watch Dickey here. He half rolls to get away from the rush. See him pulling out to the left side. Now Epps falls down. He's looking for Philip Epps. Watch this. Epps falls down, and Daniel jumps over and makes a good interception. And watch him return the ball here. He coughs it up when he's hit, but the Colts get lucky. They hold on at the end of this play. He fumbles, but the Colts come up with it. They have a great opportunity, Jim.
26-yard interception return. 1st and 10 for the Colts. Matt Pagel back to pass on 1st down. Throws deep into the end zone. Into and out of the arms. It's incomplete. Intended there for Wayne Capers.
And number 26 makes a good play. Tim Lewis, if he doesn't hit Wayne Capers, when he does, watch him right there, he'll catch that ball. But that little jolt at the end of the play saved a touchdown. Classic situation. A turnover, you try to come for the touchdown.
The Colts doing exactly what they told us they were going to do yesterday, and that is if they get an opportunity to get a big play on the Packers, they're going to try and take advantage of it. After the interception, it is 2nd and 10. 2 tight ends now in for Indianapolis. Mark Boyer joins Pat Beach. Pagel throws. Incomplete. The nearest Colt receiver was George Wansley.
And the boos are coming from Mike Pagel, who's had his problems last week against Buffalo. As you look at his stats for the year, Pagel only 7 of 22 for 78 yards, 2 interceptions, no TDs. This man needs to find his confidence if he's going to lead the Colts to any kind of scoring.
Six defensive backs in now for Green Bay. 3 wide receivers for the Colts. And Pagel from the shotgun. High snap. Inside handoff to Curtis Dickey. A reverse. Wayne Capers will score. And John, it looked so easy.
It's a great call. Watch, it's the high snap. Pagel makes the hands off to Dickey. Dickey looks like he's taking it around the end, but hands off to Capers, and then he gets some great blocks. Watch number 72 in a moment. Coming up right there. See 72, Baldischweiler. He knocks off the Packers, and that gives Capers room to get outside for the score.
Allegre is in to attempt the extra point conversion. And it is good. So on a reverse to Wayne Capers, the Indianapolis Colts. So Raul Allegre all set to kick off again for Indianapolis. Gary Ellerson. And Gary Ellis back to receive deep for Green Bay. This is Ellerson again, this time at the 10-yard line. Ellison gets to the 20, to the 25, up to the 29-yard line. And the Packers will have their second series. Tackle there is made by Leonard Coleman.
Remember last week against the Bears, the Packers had their opportunities with turnovers, but they didn't capitalize on it right here. Take a look at the turnover ratio going into today's game. The Green Bay Packers are even. They've taken the ball away as many times as they've given it away. Indianapolis is -2. See the teams that win, Jim? +14 for the Rams, +9 for Chicago. They are the teams that are undefeated.
And one turnover today. Colts get it. They have a 7-point lead. The Packers have the ball at the 30-yard line. It is 1st and 10. Lynn Dickey. This time it's Jesse Clark. Clark tackled by Brad Wright. And one of the things that the Colts really do on defense, and that is they've been playing so well lately, and they really defend against the run.
They certainly do. They're a good and they're growing team. And they're a defense that features their linebackers. You mentioned those #1 draft choices. Cooks, Krause, and Bickett this year, the #1 draft choice out of USC.
One first quarter score, Chicago over Minnesota. It's 2nd and 9 here, ball at the 31-yard line. Here's Dickey back to pass. Good protection. Throws, intended for James Lofton, and he has it at the 45-yard line and runs out of bounds.
And that's what Dickey was telling us. He said he thought he could get to the outside against the Baltimore zone. Even in zone, their defensive backs, the cornerbacks, play inside. This time, Epps goes down the field, cuts to the inside, takes the zone with him. Lofton comes underneath, and he's wide open on the outside for a first down.
And Dickey also told us yesterday as that completion was good for 27 yards. But the Colts, quite frankly, don't put on a very good pass rush. And that's one of the things that the Packers have been trying to get so much this year is good pass protection, because quarterback spot is the spot for the Packers. Dickey back to pass again. Throws in time for Philip Epps. It is incomplete. And again, he was
Jimmy,
wide open.
Exactly. You saw Preston Davis playing that inside position, something you don't see very often in a zone from defensive backs. And they are convinced that they can get Philip Epps to the outside and also get him deep. Forrest Gregg said it in the meeting yesterday. We think we can get Philip Epps downtown.
And they will try over and over again. As we all know, the Packers can strike from any distance on the field, but it is the Colts who have a 7-0 lead. Ball at the 42-yard line out of Indianapolis. Jesse Clark in the backfield. It's a pass again for Green Bay. Dickey throwing, intended for Lofton. Over his head. Defended there by Anthony Young. So once again, we're seeing where the Packers are running the corner patterns and the out patterns.
And that's the idea, but this time Anthony Young read the pattern well and broke to the corner and made a good play to break up this pass, so Lofton might have had a shot at that ball.
The Packers this year, they've had some very long trips back home after losing all 3 on the road. 6 defensive backs in now for the Colts, 3 wide receivers for Green Bay. Dickey from the shotgun. Again, good protection. Throws down the middle. Into and out of the hands of Preston Denard. And he was wide open.
Jim, no doubt about it. That was the double zone where both safeties cover half the field. Preston Denard coming out of the slot was open. Dickey just didn't throw that ball that well.
Dickey this afternoon is only 1 of 5. And remember yesterday, Forrest Gregg was telling us he wasn't that upset about the game in Chicago, except for the fact that they didn't execute. They had the opportunities, they had the turnovers, and they couldn't do anything with them. That's Robbie Martin. Back to receive Joe Prokop's punt. Prokop has not had what he would like to have the kind of season this year. Very inconsistent. This time right down the middle. Martin signaling for a fair catch, and he does. The ball will be spotted at the 9-yard line, and that's where Indianapolis will take over in the passing game. 1st and 10, ball at the 10-yard line. Mike Pagel at quarterback. And there are flags on the play. Referee Fred Silva.
Offense, number 81. Ball start. Still 1st down.
That's Pat Beach.
Pat Beach just jumped offside. Take a look at him right here. He's down in his stance. The rest of the line is not down. They're waiting for Pagel to put them down. But Beach, just a little bit anxious, gets off the mark.
Certainly the thing you don't want to do from your own 10-yard line. It's now 1st and 15, ball at the 5-yard line. And here's a handoff to McMillan. McMillan tackled by Robert Brown. Green Bay on defense, they have the 3-4. Robert Brown, who just made the tackle, Charles Martin, and Ezra Johnson. Linebacking core that has been pretty good this year. And a secondary that only has 2 interceptions, and they have really been struggling back in the defensive secondary for the Packers, trying to come up with interceptions. The team only has 5 as a whole. Pickup of only 1 yard. It is 2nd and 14. Ball at the 6-yard line. Here's the inside handoff to Wansley. George Wansley. Tackle made by Tom Flynn. Here's a young man who'll add a little spark to it.
And George Wansley, 6 feet, 220 pounds, has really come into his own in a backfield filled with stars. Randy McMillan, Curtis Dickey. But Wansley is starting at halfback, and boy, did Murphy have to take on Wansley that time.
Being so short and very well built, he has a good deal of speed himself. And Murphy found out about that then. It's now 3rd and 4. Ball at the 16-yard line of Indianapolis. Pagel back to pass. Throws. Great catch by Wansley. Wansley coming out of the backfield, tackled by John Anderson, but it is not enough yardage for the 1st down.
It's short. The reason it's short is that the Packers pressured Pagel. They're telling him, we're coming with the blitz. Wansley makes a great catch, tips the ball, but comes up short. You see the yard marker there. He does not get the 1st down.
Now we will get a chance to look at that's Tom Flynn back to receive for Green Bay. And we'll get a chance to look at the leading punter in the National Football League, and Robin Stark. Ron Stark, he averages 46 yards a punt. This is Flynn at the 42-yard line. Gets into Indianapolis territory. He's tackled at the 45-yard line by Pat Beach. 1st and 10 for Green Bay. All at the 45-yard line of Indianapolis. The Colts lead it, however, 7-0. Dickey to pass. Sets up quick. Throws. Almost intercepted by Dwayne Bickett. The pass was intended for James Lofton, and Bickett, the rookie linebacker from USC, almost had an interception and a possible 6 himself. Other scores this afternoon. Washington over Cleveland in the 1st period. St. Louis leading Houston by 7. It is Tampa Bay over New England by 7. The Buccaneers looking for their 1st victory of the year, and Denver leading Kansas City 7-0. All those 1st quarter scores. Rod Dowhow hoping his Colt defense can hang on. As the Packers have it 2nd and 10. All at the 45. Here's Dickey back to pass again. The blitz is on. It's a screen. Jesse Clark. But he's tackled immediately by John Crooks. That's one of the things, John, that the Colt people were telling us, is that their linebackers have played so well this year that it enables the secondary to play a little loose and not have to come up and support that much.
This is just great read by Cook. See him right there. His responsibility is the back. He reads it well, and he makes the play on Jesse Clark.
Loss of about a yard. It's now 3rd and 11. 9 minutes, 59 seconds to go in the 1st period. The Colts have 6 defensive backs in, and Dickey is in the shotgun. Preston Denard comes in now to give the Packers 3 wide receivers. Dickey sets. Halftime starts to scramble and is set. So Len Dickey had time. The Colts secondary recovering the Packers. Lamont Hundley comes in and makes the tackle.
Interesting. You see where the rush is coming from, right up the middle. They know Dickey can't scramble to the outside, so they come up the middle and then they contain him, and Dickey just has to swallow the ball.
So that will make it a punting situation. Joe Prokop in for his second punt of the afternoon. Robbie Martin made a fair catch. His first punt return is back at the 15-yard line. Prokop handles the snap. Here's Martin at the 12-yard line. And the little guy gets up to the 19-yard line before he's tackled. And that's where Indianapolis will take over first.
Louis has no excuses this week.
Must-win situation for the 49ers. That's for sure. That's right after this ball game. Colts lead at 7-0. First and 10. Ball at the 19-yard line of Indianapolis. Pagel fakes the draw. A little confusion. Throws, and it's batted in his face by Brian Noble. Oh, the Packers had the blitz on, and Brian Noble blitzing from his inside linebacking position really put the heat on.
And take a look at the confusion in the backfield. This certainly didn't help. You see the little fake right there to McMillan? Well, he bounces off. That takes time. And while he's looking for his receiver, Noble is right in his face. Right there. Number 91, the rookie out of Arizona State.
Yesterday, Mike Douglas was telling us one of the things that they really want to do is on first down situations, confuse the young Colts, put a lot of pressure on them, keep them in passing situations. No pickup on the play after the pass was batted down. Second and 10. Here's a handoff to Wansley. Wansley across the 20, across the 25 to the 29-yard line. Finally tackled by John Anderson as Mark Murphy comes over and covers him up. Good run there.
You get an idea of why George Wansley is averaging close to 5 yards a carry. Watch this. He gets a good lead black there, right there from number 32. See McMillan roll down on Noble's legs, and then Wansley just does the rest himself.
Wansley, who likes to run, also likes to talk. We asked him one question on Friday. He must have talked for 25 minutes. Very personable, comes from a very large family, 6 brothers. They're all running backs. George is running here for the Colts this afternoon. Inside handoff. This is Randy McMillan. McMillan tackled by Mike Mad Dog Douglas as he crosses the 30-yard line to the 32.
Now they have a good offensive line. Take a look at the guard, number 66, Ron Salt, second year out of Maryland. Pulling right there, gets a good block on Douglas, but Douglas spins off to grab on for the tackle. Good play by Douglas.
It's only a pickup of 3 yards. 3 wide receivers now in for the Colts. Pagel, quick snap, sets up, throws, complete to McMillan. Oh, and McMillan was met head on by Mark Lee. Just short of the first down by about a yard. The winless Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have a 2-touchdown advantage now over New England in the first period. Washington over Cleveland by 14 points. Buffalo leading Philadelphia 7-0. The Bills defeated Indianapolis last week. Denver over Kansas City 10-0. Chains have been brought onto the field to measure for the first down. And as you can see, it is short. It will be 3rd and inches.
And the Packers are looking to the sideline to see if the refrigerator is coming in.
No, that's next week.
Oh, that's next week. That's right. That was last week and next week. Well, they weren't laughing about that, were they?
Not Monday night. They sure weren't. But the thing they have to be concerned about today is not overlooking the Colts to the Bears next week. And that's one of the dangerous things about playing a good team like that within a 2 or 3 week period. 3rd and inches. Here's a handoff to Wansley again. Gets away from one, but he can't get away from Tom Flynn. Tom Flynn, the second-year man, comes up, makes the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and that will force the Colts to punt.
Good penetration by Flynn, also a good tackle. You see him keep his head up, wrap his arms, and hold on, because Wansley's the type of back who can bounce off you and make that first down. Good penetration. Right there, and then watch Flynn. See number 41, watch him come up, keep his head up, hold on. That's the important thing. Hold on and bring down Wansley to prevent the first down.
There's Flynn back to receive the punt of Ron Stark. Good high booming punt by Stark. My, Flynn at the 7-yard line. Glenn gets to about the 20-yard line, and that's where he's tackled by Pat Beach. Let's go to New York and Brent Musburger.
No doubt about it. They're just like the Packers. They're 3 and 4, and they know that the wild card is still up for grabs. Detroit over Miami.
7-0 in the first period. Ball at the 21-yard line of Green Bay. 1st and 10. Here's a handoff to Eddie Lee Ivory. Eddie Lee across the 20 to the 22-yard line. He's tackled by Barry Krause. Krause, one of the fine inside linebackers of the Colts. We mentioned before, and it is worth repeating, that the Colt linebackers is the strength of this defense. They have 3 #1 draft choices there.
And there's Eddie Lee Ivory. Remember what Forrest Gregg said to us yesterday? He's looking for production from Eddie Lee Ivory and Gary Ellis, or else we may see Ellis.
And Forrest issued a challenge to his running backs to perform this afternoon, or else. Here's Dickey back to pass. Protection again. Throws to the far sideline. The pass is intended for Philip Epps, and he's knocked out of bounds by Preston Davis. Good defense by the young Colts secondary man.
Was he pushed out is the question, and did he hold the ball? Take a look at it again. The Colt fans don't like it. Epps is up, right? Would he have come down inbounds? I would say so. See the left foot? Well, very close. He got some help from the defensive back. The referee saw it as though his momentum would have brought him down inbounds. Wait, they're changing the call now.
No, they're bringing it back. It was ruled at first incomplete. But what you said was very true. It is a judgment call, and if the official had thought that Epps would have come down inbounds, and it would have been a completion.
And that's what they're explaining right now to Forrest Gregg.
That makes it 3rd and 8. Ball at the 23-yard line. 6 defensive backs in now for Indianapolis. Dickey from the shotgun. The Packers with 3 wide receivers. Dickey throws. It's intercepted. Eugene Daniel. The Colts' 2nd interception of the afternoon. And Daniel slides down. He's safe at the 32. Young Colts with their 2nd interception of the afternoon.
Dickey did not read. He had preconceived notion of going to James Lofton on the out. He did not read the defense, and he threw it right to Daniel, who was waiting, and makes his 2nd interception. Bad throw, too. No velocity on the ball. It looked like it was dying as it was getting out there.
Ball was very, very short then. Like we said.
Take a look at Dickey again. He knows he threw this ball poorly. He did not read the coverage. This is a little bit of a surprise for a guy who's been around 15 years. Take a look at it.
Oh, my goodness, not again.
Now he better forget about feeling sorry for himself, because there's a tackle to be made.
Dickey this afternoon only 2 of 9, but now it's the Colts on the move. Complete to Capers. Capers tackled about the 26-yard line by Tim Lewis. John Anderson also in on the tackle.
You know, Wayne Capers is a very interesting story. He gets his first start for the Colts for Robbie Martin. In his 2 years at Pittsburgh, he only caught 17 passes for a couple of 100 yards. He was one of their top draft choices. But Capers, they believe in Capers here. He's big, he's 6'2", he has speed, and they believe that he can help them at the wide receiver position.
Well, he already has this afternoon, scoring on a 20-yard reverse to give the Colts a 7-0 lead. This time it's Wansley. Wansley tackled by Mark Murphy. Colts doing a good job. Their offensive line is really impressive, even though they only have a record of 2-5.
And you get a look at Wansley. Wansley's the kind of back that doesn't lose yards. Take a look at Murphy hit him here, right? He hits him, but watch. 1, 2, 3, probably 3.5 yards. He pulls Murphy for that first down.
Left side of the line pulling that time. Helping Wansley to pick up enough yardage for the first down. It's at the 21-yard line of Green Bay. After Lynn Dickey has just been intercepted for the 2nd time in the first period. Wansley goes in motion. Handoff, Randy McMillan. And he has running room. Randy McMillan to score. 21-yard touchdown run by Randy McMillan. And one of the great things about it is that Wansley went in motion. He was covered by the defensive back and just kept on running, ran him right out.
Take a look at number 72, right side of your screen. See number 41, Baldischweiler takes down number 41, Flynn, and that allows McMillan to take it all the way in for the touchdown. Great block. And Baldischweiler, you may recall, on the Capers reverse, got the big block also, so they ought to give him part of those 2 touchdowns.
Well, we see right now here in the first period, 4:18 left, why the Colts like to run so much.
They have fine running backs. They have good offensive line. You mentioned it before. They're very good at run blocking, and they know that's where their bread and butter comes from.
And right now, that bread has a lot of butter on it.
Yes, it does.
To the tune of 13 points. Raul Allegre will try to make it 14. And he does. So after a 21-yard run by Randy McMillan, Colts lead the Packers. He just putting on his helmet. Just suffered his second interception of the afternoon. And the Colts converted. 3 plays, 32 yards. Capped off by a 21-yard touchdown run by Randy McMillan. Raul Allegre all set to kick off for Indianapolis. Another short kickoff. Ellison at the 16-yard line, and he stepped out of bounds. Gary Ellison stepped right out of bounds, so you can really count this as the 3rd big mistake by the Packers this afternoon.
Mistakes everywhere. Take a look at his left foot, and you'll see he went out of bounds just about the 16-yard line. See his left foot right on the white. The referee was right there and called it.
So Gary Ellison, who Forrest Gregg said he would like to see in action this afternoon from the running back position, certainly doesn't like what he has just seen. And the Packers have the ball at the 17-yard line. 1st and 10. They trail the Colts 14-0. 4:11 left to go in the first period. Philip Epps in motion. The draw play to Jesse Clark. Clark first hit by Dwayne Bickett, and he gets nowhere except about the 15-yard line. Let's go to Brent Musburn for Steve Bartkowski. Upset there in the making. Upset here in the making. Colts leading the Packers 14-0 as a result of 2 interceptions by Lynn Dickey. Here's a draw play to Jesse Clark. Flag goes down. Clark gets to the 22-yard line. He's tackled there by Donnell Thompson.
And it's a question of Lynn Dickey finding his confidence now. Jim, you know the season that he's had. Remember the opening game when he's coming off that stretched spinal cord, and then the bruised hand. And after that, the loss of motivation, the talk of burnout. And last week against Chicago, the thigh problem. So Lynn Dickey has had a year that you wouldn't wish on any quarterback. But right now, he's healthy. We saw him last night. He appeared to feel as good as he's felt.
Offense, number 68, holding, half the distance to the goal line.
Greg Cook was called for holding, but Dickey, when we saw him, appeared as healthy and spry as he's ever been. As you take a look at the right side of your screen, Greg Cook does not help the situation. Number 68. See him right there, right side of your screen. He's grabbing on. See his right hand? So he's got a hold of the jersey right there, and that's the penalty.
So the Packers have made one mistake right after another this afternoon. That's why they trail 14-0. That's why they have the ball 2nd and 18 at their own 9-yard line. And here's Dickey. Back to pass from his own end zone. Set, throws. Complete to Paul Kaufman. Kaufman to the 27-yard line. And it looks like it may be enough yardage for the first down. Brad White making the tackle.
Now, Kaufman and Lynn Dickey are roommates. They used to be the bread and butter. Kaufman comes around the linebacker. Bickett doesn't go with him. But watch Kaufman after he catches the ball. The big, strong man fighting for some extra yards, and it's very, very close. He got the first down, Jim.
Tom Flynn has left the ball game with an ankle injury to his left ankle. It is not known if he will return. That pass completion is good for 18 yards. And it is enough yardage for the first down. Lofton was signaling for a timeout, but he didn't get it. Here's the reverse to Philip Epps, and he has blockers and running room. Epps has speed. Behind Dickey, who throws a block. Epps down the near sideline. Good move, back to the inside. Epps is still on his feet, but the officials are ruling that he stepped out of bounds. Epps goes into the end zone, but back at the 48-yard line, the officials are ruling that Philip Epps stepped out of bounds. So it's all 4-0.
First we see the Colts run reverse. Capers scores a touchdown. Philip Epps is heartbroken because he's looking back and he knows they've called him out of bounds. Take a look at it here. Ivory takes the pitch, hands off to Epps with that world-class speed. And watch Lynn Dickey out in front, and also number 65, Hallstrom. Take a look. See Dickey looking inside and Hallstrom. And now watch.
The field should read 211.
Watch Epps right here. Cuts outside. Watch his left foot. Right there. He does step out of bounds with both feet. No question about it. Good call by the officials.
A pickup of 25 yards. And it's still a great play, but the most distressing thing about that as far as the Packers are concerned is that Epps wasn't forced out of bounds. There was no one within 2 or 3 yards of it.
That's having a sense on the field where the boundaries are.
2:11 left to go in the first period. Fake. The throw to Lofton. Waits for his blockers. But he gets nowhere. Eugene Daniel comes up from the secondary to make a fine tackle. 14-0 here. Colts over the Packers. Other scores. Detroit leading Miami 10-0. Also in the first period, Chicago over Minnesota by 10. Atlanta leading Dallas, as you just saw in that NFL Today report from Brent Musburger in New York. It is St. Louis over Houston by 10, first quarter.
Ooh, Detroit. That's a surprise. Detroit, of course, beat San Francisco last week. They look like they're for real.
They're a feisty bunch, as is this Colt team that leads the Packers by 14 points. 2nd and 9. Here's Dickey back to pass. Throws. Complete to Preston Denard. Denard's tackled by Cliff Odom.
And you get a sense that the Packers are taking control of this game now in the momentum. Watch him here. Smart, high percentage throw to Preston Denard. Coming, see him right there to the left of your screen, cutting away from the linebacker, makes the catch, juggles it a little bit, but still gets the first down.
Preston Denard, who started his career with the Rams and was traded to Buffalo, came to the Packers at the beginning of this year. The Vikings have just scored for Brett Grant. They trail Chicago by 3. The Packers trail the Colts by 14. Fake the draw. Throws. Complete to wide open Kaufman. He's at the 15, the 10. Kaufman bumped out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Knocked out there by Anthony Young. So what you said was, John, was just about right. The Packers are starting to take control. Pick up 28 yards.
Jim, they have awesome weapons. And the reason that Kaufman's this wide open is that Lofton, number 80, cleared out the zone. Dickey waited for Kaufman to come behind the linebackers and then to make the catch. You saw number 98, Johnny Cooks, in front. See Lofton downfield? He was the one that made that possible.
The Packers here doing a combination of things, knowing that the Colt cornerbacks like to play their zone and fall off to the inside. Following Lofton to the inside, had it wide open for Kaufman. First and goal. Ball at the 8-yard line. That's Epps in motion. Dickey rolling, looking into the end zone. Throws. Kaufman makes the catch. Touchdown, Green Bay.
And what hands by Kaufman. That's his 5th touchdown of the year. And you know when Dickey wants something. I'm really surprised to see this because Dickey is not a rollout quarterback. But Kaufman makes this play. He goes down and snatches this ball off the carpet. Take a look at this, folks. Right there. See it? And Dickey threaded the needle to get it through about 4 or 5 Colts who were in his vision. And the Pack is back in this game.
Al Del Greco in to attempt the extra point conversion. And it is good. So the Packers come right back. A touchdown pass from Lynn Dickey. He used 3 minutes and 47 seconds on the clock. Capped off by a Lynn Dickey 8-yard touchdown pass to Paul Kaufman.
And Jim, what's amazing about Kaufman, that's the 38th career touchdown. That's high among active tight ends, Paul Kaufman.
On that drive, Dickey was a perfect 5 of 5 with 66 yards. Del Greco's kickoff. That's Albert Bentley. There's a marker on the play, but Bentley stays on his feet. And he has a lot of speed. He needs one more block, and he may go. But he stumbles. Gets to the 48-yard line. Tackled by Gary Hayes. That's where the Colts will take over 1st and 10. That was not a flag. It was just a marker that was thrown on the field to indicate where the run did start.
And you know that Forrest Gregg coaches the kickoff coverage team. As you saw, that marker thrown on the field is not a flag. And here they come back to make the tackle. And you're right, Gary Hayes makes the tackle right here. Well, here's right there. Hayes gets a piece and knocks down the runner.
Once again, there was a flag. We saw a marker that was thrown to start the run, but there was a flag back upfield. Offsides against Green Bay. It was declined. Colts take over 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. Mike Pagel, the quarterback. Pagel taking to McMillan. Rolling to get away from pressure. Shots, throws. Almost intercepted by Tim Lewis. Ball was hit, deflected right at the line of scrimmage.
It looked like big number 94, Charlie Martin, the nose tackle at 6'5". Take a look at him. He's chasing Pagel out there. Stops. And someone gets a hand. It is Martin, and the ball is deflected, almost intercepted right there.
So Tim Lewis, the third time that both teams get back to the finals, the third consecutive time. But they will have met in the championship. But now, we have the Colts leading the Panthers. 14-7. Pagel throws down the middle, and it is complete. Matt Busa, who last week against Buffalo was the only wide receiver to catch a pass for Indianapolis, and that's one of the reasons why he's starting this afternoon.
And that's with man-to-man coverage. Number 27, Gary Hayes, right there. See me on screen. He is with Busa all over the field, but Busa just runs by him and makes the catch. Look at it right there for a good gain. The Colts have good field position when we come back.
But now the Colts have the ball 1st and 10. Ball at the 11-yard line of Green Bay. Inside handoff is Randy McMillan. He scored once. He gets down to about the 6-yard line. Tackled by Mike McLeod.
You see McMillan put his shoulder down there and take it to McLeod. Let's take a look and see what's happening around the rest of the league, Jim.
Atlanta leading the Dallas Cowboys 10-0. It is Tampa Bay leading 14-6 over the Patriots. The Patriots have just gotten on the scoreboard. Miami coming back. Don Shula trailing Detroit by 3. Buffalo over Philadelphia 10-0 in the second quarter. 2nd and 5 at the 6. That's Wansley in motion. Pagel sprinting, throws into the end zone. Into and out of the hands of Wansley. So Wansley, who went in motion, we were told yesterday and the day before that he has very good hands, wasn't able to hold on to this one.
Watch Mike McLeod, number 28, right here, Jim. Right there, get a hand on the ball and deflect it ever so slightly. I believe that's the reason Wansley didn't catch the ball.
So it'll be 3rd and 5 from the 6-yard line for Mike Pagel and his Indianapolis Colt offense. Pagel told us yesterday the best thing he does as a quarterback is think. Now he's trying to think of a way to get into the end zone. Takes the handoff to Wansley. Gets away from pressure. Looks, throws into the end zone. Almost intercepted. Intended for Pat Beach. It was Mark Lee defending for Green Bay.
Pagel on the scramble. He's not a great scrambling quarterback. Does not have an overpowering arm. Here he's throwing into a lot of traffic. He's looking for Beach. But you said it right there. Beach goes up. Lee gets a hand on it and knocks it away.
So with the incompletion, that will force a 4th down and a field goal attempt by Raul Alegre. The ball will be spotted at the 15, rather the 14 now. It'll be a 24-yard field goal attempt. And Alegre is perfect from this distance so far this year. And he saves that way. Raul Alegre, a 24-yard field goal. Afternoon for the Packers. They trail the Colts 17-7. That's Alegre, who just kicked the 24-yard field goal. High but short kickoff. This is Gary Ellis, about the 10-yard line. Hurdles his way over the 25 to the 29-yard line. That's where the Packers will take over 1st and 10. The scoring drive for the Colts, 6 plays. They go 45 yards, use a minute and 35 seconds on the clock. Once again, capped off by the Raul Alegre 24-yard field goal.
And you get a feeling that Lynn Dickey has found his stride. 5 for 5 on that last drive. And Dickey now has his rhythm. And when he has his rhythm, the Packer offense, especially through the air, can score on anybody.
Eddie Lee Ivory in the backfield. Now the lone setback for the Packers. And he gets the toss back. Eddie Lee to the 34-yard line. Tackle there by Barry Krause. Krause, one of 3 #1 draft choices for the Colts at the linebacker position. Dwayne Bickett, Barry Krause, who just made the tackle, Johnny Cooks. But Cliff Odom is the leading tackler there with 84 tackles. Krause in his 7th year out of the University of Alabama. Pick up a 5 yards on the play. 2nd and 5. Ball at the 35. The toss back to Eddie Lee Ivory again. He's in trouble. Good secondary action from Eugene Daniel, who has an interception along with Dwayne Bickett.
And great reaction by Dwayne Bickett. Take a look at the right side of your screen. It was though Bickett knew from his scouting report that that ball was coming. See him turn Ivory back inside, and then Daniel underneath to make the tackle.
We have an injured Packer player on hand. 3rd and 7. 6 defensive backs in now for the Colts. The Packers from the shotgun. Philip Epps in motion. Epps going across the field. Dickey looking. Throwing deep. Over the hands of Jesse Clark coming out of the backfield. So the Packers then looked like they tried to set up a little pick play to get Jesse Clark free, but the ball was a little too long for him, incomplete.
And Dickey had to throw the ball. You saw him getting up from the turf there. He was hit just as he threw that ball. He wanted to wait a split second longer and lay it out there, but he didn't have time.
That forces a punting situation. Joe Prokop in to punt now for Green Bay. His longest this afternoon, 40 yards. And Robbie Martin, young man picked up from Detroit, back to receive for the Colts. Low line drive. Martin will have a chance to return it from his own 30. Good block up the far sideline. It looks like the ball pops loose. The Packers are indicating that they have it, and they do. So Robbie Martin fielded the low line drive punt at the 30-yard line and got belted good right in front of the Packer bench. Gary Hayes comes up with a fumble recovery.
See number 71 right there? Mark Shoemate rips his arm away, and then Hayes comes up with the recovery, and the Packers have the ball back in pretty good field position on their own side of the 50-yard line.
They certainly do. 2 interceptions. Those are the turnovers for Green Bay. The first turnover of the afternoon for the Colts. The fans here starting to get into it a little bit now, trying to help their young Colt defense. 1st and 10. Dickey back to pass. Throws the slant to Philip Epps, and he makes the catch. Good pass there by Philip Epps. Keith Lee making the tackle.
If you give Lynn Dickey time, and Forrest Gregg said this, if we give our quarterback time, we protect him, he will complete passes. This is just a quick slant on a rhythm throw. 1, 2, 3, bingo. Throws it before the linebacker can get there. Epps on the slant makes the catch.
So Dickey, who got off to a terrible start at this ball game, is really starting to get the rhythm, get the flow of things. Packers trailing 17-7. 11:57 left to go in the first half. Hand off to Jesse Clark right up the middle. Clark to the 25-yard line. Tackled by Barry Krause. Let's look at some other scores this afternoon. Seattle over the New York Jets, John, 7-0 in the second quarter.
Jets have never beaten Seattle. As you look at that, Denver burying Kansas City. 24 is there.
Chiefs lost last week to the Rams. It is Detroit. They just scored again, leading the Dolphins 17-7. St. Louis over Houston 10-3. Atlanta leading Dallas 10-7 in the second quarter. 2nd and 4. Ball at the 24-yard line. Handoff. This is Gary Ellis up the middle. Ellis, first contact is made by Cliff Odom. Packers trying to show some strength that they have up the middle from their offensive line that's really come under a lot of criticism this year. They've had injuries. They've had people to come into camp late and to walk out. They've allowed 27 quarterback sacks, forced Lynn Dickey to even think about early retirement. But when we talked to him last night, you asked him if he was still having those thoughts in his mind, had he lost the enthusiasm. He said something about he was putting it in the back of his mind.
He really was putting it out. It's almost as though he put up a wall, a block, until the end of this year. He wants to play out the scheme, see if he can get the Packers into the playoffs, and then he'll think about his future.
What would you think?
I think he'll be back. If he stays healthy, I think he'll be back. It's a question of whether the Packers will want him back. or whether Jim Zorn or Randy Wright will be the quarterback of the future.
But the quarterback of today is Lynn Dickey. 1st and 10. Ball at the 20-yard line. And here's Dickey back to pass. Protected. Throw it. The ball is batted at the line of scrimmage by Cliff Odom. Intended for Paul Kaufman, who was wide open. You saw Kaufman jumping up and down. But Cliff Odom, 6'2", 236 from Texas Arlington, knocked it down.
Take a look at the left of your screen. You'll see Odom. But watch Dickey. He throws this ball. He has Kaufman wide open. And after Dickey throws the ball, he does the same thing Kaufman does. He bangs his hands on the ground. See the left side of your screen, because the ball would have been a completion for a good game.
Kaufman, the all-pro tight end. Dickey told us yesterday, he said, we've got to get the ball to Paul. We've got to get him involved more in the offense, because the Colts play a lot of zone on defense. 2nd and 10, ball at the 20. 10:45 to go in the first half. Dickey to pass. Throws. Complete to Jesse Clark out of the backfield. Clark run down by Barry Krause.
Now, Dickey did what you're supposed to do right there. If you're going to get the ball to a back out of the backfield, you got to get it to him right now, so that he can run and possibly make a first down. But Krause grabbed him by the shirt, rustled him to the ground, and prevented that from happening. So it's 3rd and about 7 for the Pack.
I remember Forrest Gregg telling us that what the Packers have to do today is to be very, very patient. Have to force the Colts on defense to make mistakes, because they play a zone so well that you can't get a lot of big plays on.
3 wide receivers now, Jeff.
6 defensive backs now for the Colts. 3rd and 8, and Dickey's in the shotgun. The blitz is on. Right up the middle comes Glasgow. When he throws, complete to Preston Denard. Denard knocked out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
But you see Denard go like that because he knows he's short of the first down. If you're going to complete a pass in this situation, well, you might as well complete it for a first down. This is just a receiver's problem. He should know where that first down is and get enough yards. Perfect throw by Dickey. And see him right there, just about a yard short of the first down.
Leonard Coleman was defending for the Colts, and that's one of the reasons why Denard had to break it off, but he should have run his pattern a little bit deeper and then come back. But Al Del Greco in to attempt a field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 19. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt. Del Greco from 29 yards. And it is good. 29-yard field goal by Al
Packer kickoff.
Del Greco, who just kicked a 29-yard field goal, kicking off. This is Robbie Martin at the 1-yard line. Oh, there's a flag down, and Martin is brought down at the 25-yard line. Once again, there is a flag on the play. The tackle was made by Gary Ellerson, as referee Fred Silva talks to the field judge, Don Orr. And here's his call.
On the run back, number 35, illegal block above the waist, half the distance to the goal line. It'll be first down.
That penalty called against Tate Randall.
Take a look at this top center of your screen and see if you can find number 35. See him right there knocking down a Packer. That was Tate Randall. Therefore, a penalty against the Colts, and they start off deep in their own territory.
They start off, as a matter of fact, on their own 10-yard line. The Colts leading the Packers 17-10. 9:42 left to go in the first half. Mike Hagel, the quarterback for Indianapolis. George Wansley and Randy McMillan in the backfield. Hand off to McMillan. McMillan tackled by Brian Noble as he gets to the, about the 13-yard line. There's a flag that's just been thrown on the field. The Packers are frustrated. I think this is going to be a delay of game call against Green Bay for spiking the ball.
Defense, number 91, spiking the ball, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Brian Noble. And we know that the Packers were embarrassed on Monday night against the Bears, and they really are starting to show their frustrations now.
Take a look at number 91. He has the ball. He feels he has a fumble recovery, and then he spikes the ball, and that's the penalty. Wasn't much, was it?
But you cannot spike the ball while the clock is rolling. And that's the reason why the 5-yard penalty was assessed. Gives the Colts a 2nd and 2 at their own 18-yard line.
guess who was there?
He stopped short of the first down. What a critical game this is for Green Bay, because if you throw out the two undefeated teams, the Rams and the Chicago Bears, you have these 9 teams, John, that have a shot at the playoffs.
It's battling for those 2 wild card spots, and all of these teams have a shot. And certainly Green Bay knows that, and they lost to Chicago last week. They need a win here today because next week they have to take on the Chicago Bears again.
So the Packers have all kinds of things at stake this afternoon. At stake for the Colts, a lot of pride. Wanting to get back on the winning track, wanting to break a 2-game losing streak. 3rd and 1. A handoff to Wansley. Wansley appears to have enough yardage for the first down tackle made by Randy Scott.
And this gives you an idea of what the Colts are looking for, respectability. You mentioned what's at stake. Take a look at Wansley. He'll tell you what's at stake. The Colts are looking to continue the rise to respectability, to find out who they are. Are they the team who fought the Jets before losing 25-20, or a club who lost to Buffalo last week, giving the Bills their first victory of the season? So they're really looking for their identity.
Well, right now, they're a team that leads the Packers 17-10. But they're on their own 22-yard line, 1st and 10. Here's Pagel back to pass. Good protection, throws. Complete to Wansley out of the backfield, but he's tackled by John Anderson. Scores. Detroit. The Dolphins are coming back for Don Shula. 17-14. Denver really rolling over Kansas City. Dallas on top now. They've finally taken the lead against the Atlanta Falcons. Second and 6 at the 26-yard line. Young Mike Pagel, out of his 4th year from Arizona State. Randy McMillan and George Wansley in the backfield. That's McMillan in motion. Hand off to Wansley. Wansley stumbles and gets to the 30-yard line before Mike Douglas and Brian Noble make the tackle.
It was interesting when we were talking to Mike Pagel about his backs, Wansley, McMillan, and Dickey. He said, you know, I've really been spoiled in college when I was at Arizona State with Darryl Rogers. I had Gerald Riggs and I had Robert Weathers. So I've always had good running backs to take the heat off me as a quarterback.
And Pagel is a young man who we mentioned earlier says the best thing he does is think. He also said the quarterback that he admired the most when he was growing up was Fran Tarkenton. He knows he can't scramble like Fran, but he admired him. It's 3rd and 2. Pagel to pass. Blitz is on. Good protection. He throws. Complete out of the backfield is Matt Bosa. Tackle made by Tim Lewis.
You know, Chip Myers, the receiver coach for the Colts, described Matt Bosa as a Dwight Clark type of receiver. Big, rangy, knows how to find the open spot, which he does right here, and knows how to use his hands to catch the ball, and that's exactly what he does for the first down.
Another reason why they have Bosa in the starting lineup, they told us that he may not be the fastest receiver in the world, but he knows how to get open and he knows how to catch the ball. And that's what they need now, some productivity from their wide receiving corps. Good enough for the first down. The handoff to Wansley, trying to get wide. The Packers stretching it out. Mark Murphy and Guy Prather coming up to make the tackle.
You talk about that receiver corps for the Colts. Today, Wayne Capers starts for Robbie Martin. Matt Bosa starts for Ray Butler. And Butler, of course, in his 6th year out of USC, has always been the big wide receiver for the Colts. But they told me before the game that Butler has just not been doing it for them in the games. And they need to find some productivity, as you mentioned, at the wide receiver. But in reality, this is a very, very average corps of wide receivers.
But on the other side of the coin, when I talked to Butler, he said that he was being used as a scapegoat. So you're always going to get both ends of the spectrum when you talk to two people about someone who's been benched and replaced by another. Fake the drop. Pagel throws. Complete to Bosa again. Tackle by Tim Lewis.
Well, Bosa may be proving the coaching staff right as he continues to catch passes here. He was the only receiver to catch a pass last week against Buffalo. And Butler, coming into today, had only caught 16 passes in 6 games. So it's not exactly an awesome performance by Butler. Bosa's doing the job today for the Colts.
Bosa is a big target. And as we saw him in practice on Friday and Saturday, catches the ball very well. People talk about he catches it with his hands. The only thing is that you catch it, period. 1st and 10, ball at the 49. Inside handoff to McMillan. He gets inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line. Alfonso Carricker and Randy Scott making the tackle. Randy McMillan. It's kind of strange yesterday when we were talking to McMillan, and he was talking about the Packer defense, and he said that, you know, I don't think that Mike Douglas is as aggressive as he used to be. Douglas used to run all over the field. And if you notice, when McMillan ran his 21-yard touchdown, it was around the end where Mike Douglas plays his linebacking position.
You better not tell that to Mike Douglas. You know what an emotional player he is.
Douglas has been trying to lead the pack, but they get by Douglas again. Douglas came up, forced McMillan to the inside. Tackle made by Mike McLeod.
And you know, McMillan was telling us yesterday that his ankle is still not 100%. Boy, you'd never know it right here as he bowls over the safety, Mike McLeod, right there for some extra yards.
First down.
And this is really a fullback-oriented offense, much like the Pittsburgh Steelers were in the 70s with Franco Harris. They revolved their offense around Randy McMillan, number 32, not Curtis Dickey, number 33, who we've seen very little of today.
And they all have the greatest amount of respect for Ray Donaldson, the 6-year veteran center. That's one of the reasons why they like to run up the middle. But this time, they decide to pass. Throws. Knocked down by John Anderson, who almost had a chance to intercept it. Anderson blitzing from his outside linebacking position. Knocked the pass down by Pagel.
And Anderson's one of those big linebackers, 6'4". Watch him right here. Keeps his composure, and at the last minute, jumps, knocks the ball up in the air, and you know, it almost came down in his hands. First round draft choice back in 1978 out of Michigan. Senior member of that linebacking core for the Green Bay Packers.
He has reason to smile about that play. He does not have reason to smile as on the scoreboard. Colts leading 17-10. Pagel going back, looking for more. Throws. Intended for Wayne Capers and complete. Capers gets up on his feet, struggling down inside the 20-yard line. Great reception then by Wayne Capers. Coming back, having to battle Mark Lee for the reception and took it away from him.
He took that ball right out of Mark Lee's hands. Take a look at it right here. Mark Lee thought he had an interception, but Wayne Capers, see, Lee has it. Capers just rips it out of his hands, and there he's down. Right there, he's down. He gets up, but it's meaningless.
It is enough yardage for the first down. And that's one of the reasons why they wanted to get Capers into the lineup, because of his speed and of his size.
And he came to the Colts after the second week of the season. He was cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Jim, coming into today's game, only one reception for 6 yards. Today, Capers is having a good afternoon.
And it's been a long afternoon for Mark Murphy. With his strong safety position, having to force on numerous running plays. Hand off to McMillan. McMillan bolting his way over the right side of the Colt offensive line. He's tackled by Randy Scott.
And this is the kind of offense that Dowhauer really wants, a balanced offense, and that's what the Colts are getting as they're driving here at the Hoosiers.
Twice in 2 or 3 weeks, you tend to overlook someone who has a lesser record. Pagel back to pass, throws, complete to Busa again. Busa gets away, but he steps out of bounds. Busa got away that time, got away from Gary Hayes.
And a good read by Pagel. The blitz is on, the all-out blitz. Take a look at it. He has to get rid of it in a hurry. He does. Booza's open. Gary Hayes, you see 27. He's a little bit late getting there for the out. And Booza makes the reception. See him step right out of bounds there. His heel and his toe. Referee was right there to call it.
Once again, what you were talking about is right, John. You know, completing the medium range passes as they methodically move right down the field. Colts lead 17-10. 1:55 to go in the second quarter. Inside handoff. McMillan almost lost the ball, tackled by John Anderson. Randy McMillan, who scored once this afternoon, had the ball and got up around his left shoulder and looked like it was going to pop loose there.
I think it's fair to mention that the Packers come into this game nicked. Their defensive line. Ezra Johnson, the man who leads them in sacks with 6.5, and Robert Brown, who has 4 sacks, both having problems. Ezra Johnson with an ankle, Brown also with leg problems, so they haven't really gotten the rush on Pagel that they would like.
Ezra has a sore ankle, among numerous other injuries. Here's Pagel back to pass on second down. Looks into the end zone, but throws out into the flat, over the head of McMillan. And McMillan was wide open. mean, he was wide open. Could have picked up maybe enough yardage for the first down because there was no one within 2 or 3 yards of him.
He was forced to throw that ball a little bit higher, but it was a question of touch. Had he just touched it out there rather than put so much velocity on it, he might have had a completion.
Rod Dowhauer is a young man who came in here with a background of passing, but as he told us yesterday, now that he's the head coach and not the offensive coordinator, he has to worry about the entire program. That's why he's trying to build his defense first. But he wants his offense to get into the end zone now. Paper, look, throws, complete to Wansley. Wansley gets inside the 10 to the 9-yard line, met there by Anderson and Brian Noble again.
He actually wanted his tight end. Someone run out of their shoe on the turf. He actually wanted his tight end, Pat Beach, over the middle, but he was covered as Anderson ran out of his shoe.
Raul Alegre comes in now. But and field position as well as anyone in the National Football League. But right now, Vicky has to watch and see what happens with this field goal attempt by Raul Alegre. This will be a 27-yard field goal attempt. He's already connected from 24 yards. And it is good. So Raul Alegre, he has done it again, a 29-yard field goal attempt, and it gives the Colts a 20-10 lead. I think he's his best cheerleader, don't you think, John?
Certainly is. Yes. You think he won the
game? A 27-yard field goal. Another short. This is Gary Ellerson at the 12-yard line. Ellerson gets tackled at the 27-yard line by Orlando Lowry. The scoring drive by the Colts. 18 plays, 81 yards, 9 minutes and 11 seconds on the clock.
Takes a little steam out of you when you have the ball for that long, go 18 plays, and only come away with a field goal. You really want to capitalize with a touchdown. So the Pack dodged a bullet in a way by only giving up a field goal.
And another thing that it really did, as far as the Colts were concerned, they only got 3 points out of it, but they kept it away from the high-powered Packer attack. But now the Packers with 3 wide receivers have Dickey in the shotgun. He throws down the middle. Complete to Lofton. The ball comes loose. They're ruling it incomplete. Good tackle there by Nesby Glasgow.
Nesby laid a hit on Lofton, who could have easily caught that ball. Take a look at it again. Lofton has it for a moment, but Glasgow sends his helmet and his shoulder pads right where the ball came in and knocks it away.
Nesby Glasgow, really the veteran in the secondary for the Colts. He's in his 7th year. Eugene Daniels in his 2nd year. Anthony Young is the rookie, and Preston Davis from Baylor is in his 2nd year. The 2nd and 10 at the 28-yard line. 3 wide receivers for Green Bay. The Colts with 6 defensive backs. The screen to Jesse Clark. But he's caught from behind. Jesse Clark caught from behind by Chris Scott. Good hustling defense. Question, but he just didn't know. Which makes you believe no. 3rd and 1. 22 seconds to go in the first half. It's the flip to Clark. Jesse Clark gets up to the 48-yard line. 16 seconds left to go. Timeout, which is 16 seconds away. Dickey. Good protection. Throws complete to Lofton again. Gee. I'm giving Lofton credit for completion because he's wide open. That pass was way, way short. Once again, Dickey has a man wide open and failed to get the ball to him.
The ball was just poorly thrown behind Lofton. He almost comes back to make a good catch. See him right there, turning, twisting, almost comes up with it. But that's what they were trying to do. Lofton driving inside and then coming back to the sidelines in the hopes of getting out of bounds for the field goal. I think we'll see it one more time, Jeff.
There's no need in not doing it because the pattern is open. It's just that the pass hasn't been there.
Either one more shot, getting field goal range, or else to go way downtown to James Lofton with all that leaping ability.
11 seconds on the clock. Dickey throws. And it's intercepted for the 3rd time this afternoon. Eugene Daniel. Eugene Daniel runs out of bounds, and on that play, the first half ends. The third interception of the afternoon thrown by Lynn Dickey. And the third interception today of the young Colt defense. John Dockery. That's Robbie Martin set to receive the kickoff of Al Del Greco. The Colts leading the Packers 20-10. Short kick. Martin at the 16-yard line. Curls over and gets good running position. Robbie Martin. He's only 5'8", but he was running then like he was 6'2".
And you know that Forrest Gregg prides himself because he coaches the kickoff coverage team. But here, Martin on the hurdle, yes, picks up some yards and gives the Colts good field position.
It will be 1st and 10 for Indianapolis. As we look at the halftime stats, John, there are two things that really jump out at me. Yards rushing for Green Bay and the turnovers by the Packers.
Turnovers really the key. Green Bay, 3 turnovers led to 2 Colts scores. That's been the difference.
Colts have the ball at their 37-yard line. Matt Pagel, again at quarterback for Indianapolis. Randy McMillan, George Wansley in the backfield, and it's Wansley who gets the call. Good block from McMillan. Wansley running across midfield, getting inside Green Bay territory down to the 43-yard line. Finally tackled by Mike McLeod.
One of the 6 Wansley brothers, this one George, watch him here, like a runaway truck with some good blocking up front. See the pulling guard, Salt, cuts off the inside, and then Wansley just lays the wood to number 28, Mike McLeod, and picks up a first down on the first play of the second half.
That run was good for 18 yards. And Wansley, who got his break by being on the special teams and said that wasn't good enough. He wanted to be a running back. Is making his presence felt this afternoon. Second half just underway. Hand off to McMillan. He's tackled by Brian Noble. Once again, the offensive line with a great surge at the line of scrimmage, pushing the Packers back as McMillan picks up about 5 yards on the play.
And you notice they're running to the left side. They are a left-handed running team. One of the main reasons is number 75, Chris Hinton, and Dowhauer says he may be his best offensive lineman. Of course, he was part of the trade to Denver. Remember when the Elway trade? Hinton was half of that trade along with Ron Salt, the other half.
From Northwestern University, that's where Hinton went to school. Pagel, the throwback from McMillan. Pagel throws deep. Capers is all by himself, and he has it. And he scores. "39 yards. Pagel to McMillan. Back to Pagel to Wayne Capers. Capers' second touchdown of the afternoon.
Perfect time to call it. Everyone has it in their bag of tricks. But this time, defensive back just got over there late. And Capers takes it in. Everybody has those kinds of plays in their bag of tricks, but they waited to the right time. They were moving the ball on the ground. So what do? They fake the run, and they pitch back to Pagel. He hits Capers, touchdown, and the Colts come out with a surge here. First time they get the ball in the second half.
Capers has 3 receptions this afternoon for 56 yards. That one 39 yards. Here's Allegre right down the middle. So the Colts open up with a... But the Packers on defense got caught napping. Raul Allegre all set to kick off. Gary Ellison is back. And he watches this go into and out of the end zone, and the Packers will take over 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
You mentioned the defensive lapse, the mental lapse. Number 28, Mike McLeod, has his eyes in the backfield. He sees McMillan get the ball. He reacts to safety. You'll see him on the left side of your screen here in a moment. He gets there late. The ball is complete. See him right there? Middle of your screen. He gets there late. He hangs on to Capers, but Capers drags him into the end zone for a touchdown. That is having your nose in the backfield where it shouldn't be if you're a defensive back. 3
plays, 63 yards. Touchdown pass to Wayne Capers. Colts lead at 27-10. Lynn Dickey's at quarterback. Hands off to Eddie Lee Ivory. Packers haven't had a lot of success running this afternoon. And they don't have much on that play. Tackle made by Brad White.
I mean, the Packers coming out of the locker room. If they could have held the Colts, they were down by 10. Dickey's a man who can put 10 points on the board in no time. All of a sudden, they had the steam taken out of them by that big play to Capers, and now they trail by 17.
And it's going to be an uphill battle this afternoon for the Packers. as they fell behind 14-0. Now they're down by 17, 27-10. Second half just getting underway. Hand off to Jesse Clark, bolting over the right side. But there's that fine core of Colts linebackers led by Barry Krause and Cliff Odom. Other scores this afternoon in the second half. It's Buffalo over Philadelphia, 17-0. Look at this. Tampa Bay, they trailed New England 16-14 in the third quarter. Denver over Kansas City, 27-10 in the third quarter.
Tampa looking for their first win. It looked like they might have gotten it there for a while, but now they're trailing.
They gave the Miami Dolphins a real scare last week before losing in the final seconds. 11:55 to go in the third period. And Clark is drugged down in the backfield by Chris Scott.
And you know what? On that drive, 3 running plays by the Green Bay Packers. An offense that does its best moving the ball through the air.
Remember the first week of the season, we saw the Packers play against New England, and on their opening series, they had 3 consecutive running plays, and I thought you were going to jump out of the booth then when you saw that.
I'm a little bit surprised. You cannot play that kind of protective offense.
Joe Prokop into punt now for Green Bay. Robbie Martin back to receive for the Colts. Ball bounces at the 38-yard line. Takes a Packer bounce and rolls out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Colts have the ball. First and 10 at their 33-yard line. With a 17-point lead. Hagel goes back. Throws. Looking for Capers again. We're seeing a good reason why they think so much of Wayne Capers. Oh, he's outstanding. Even though he didn't come up with that one, it was a great try on his part.
It was a great try, and he has that long body, 6 feet 3 inches tall, stretches it out right here on his fingertips, and almost comes up with an outstanding catch. And now you get a feel for the reason why Wayne Capers is starting his first game for the Colts in 1985.
He just had a 39-yard touchdown reception. It's second and 10. Hand off to Randy McMillan. Another good job of running and blocking by the Colt line. Tackled by Mike McLeod and Mike Douglas. We talked about the good blocking up front, John.
And look at this blocking right here by number 83, Sherwood. Oh, he's pushing Murphy all the way downfield. And this is a situation where the strong safety must fill on the run if you're going to shut down a running offense. Murphy hasn't been able to do it. He's been bounced around all afternoon by that offensive line of the Colts.
Tim Sherwin is a backup tight end who comes in a 2 tight end situation. Colts this afternoon, 3 of 7 on third down conversions. Looking for another one. And it's complete to Sherwin. Sherwin is tackled by McLeod again. So McLeod's been a very busy man, but Sherwin has come in and is doing a fine job blocking, making receptions, that time enough yardage for the first down.
And he just gets rid of that ball before the blitzer, number 37, Mark Murphy, gets to him. And all it is a quick timing pass out pattern to Tim Sherwin.
Colts now have the Packers really on the run.
Packer defense needs to make something happen, Jim. They need an interception, a fumble, a sack, something big.
First thing they need to do is just to carry out their defensive assignments. That's been one of their biggest problems of the afternoon. And the Colts capitalized it. First and 10, ball at midfield. Make the inside handoff to McMillan. Pumps. Throws to the far sideline. Intended for Matt Booza. And it's being ruled a completed pass. That pass good for 15 yards and a first down.
They may not be the fastest wide receivers in the world, but Matt Booza here goes down. The ball is tipped a little bit. That's why it wobbles. Booza keeps his eye on it, goes down. Tim Lewis, number 26, had no chance to make a play.
Now, Booza's had a fine afternoon so far. 5 receptions for 83 yards. And they're just marching up and down the field right now, executing perfectly. Good protection. Throws. Complete to Sherwin. Sherwin knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Tim Lewis.
Not just good protection, great protection. You might have seen number 94, Charles Martin, just bounced out of there by Ray Donaldson in the center of the Colt offensive line. They're getting no pressure whatsoever on Pagel. Take a look at 94. Watch what happens. He jumps, bing, they just bounced him out of there. A solid wall for the Colts, giving Pagel all the time in the world.
And I must say that after talking to the Packers yesterday, I really believe they were taking the Colts for granted.
You know, they seem loose, relaxed, and confident. I'm surprised at their performance here this afternoon.
Ball at the 30-yard line of Green Bay. Contact made at the line of scrimmage. That's Ray Donaldson and Charles Martin bumping heads.
Defense, number 94, encroachment.
That time it was against Martin.
The man Dick Modulewski calls the hardest working player he's ever coached in 2 decades in coaching, Charles Martin. Nickname, Too Mean. They could use a little meanness from that Packer defense about this time.
Martin played in Birmingham of the USFL before coming to the Packers. Pagel 14 of 23 for 168 yards and 1 touchdown pass. 8:51 left to go in the third quarter. Here's Curtis Dickey. No, this is McMillan again. Looked like Dickey fell out. Randy McMillan, who scored once.
And did you see number 75, Chris Hinton, pull out from his left tackle position all the way across to lead that play? That's what I call talent. Of course, Hinton is a guy with 4.8 speed. Take a look at him right there. Number 75. See him out in front all the way from the left tackle position. Gets a good block right there on number 91.
You know, in most teams that you talk to, they would rather pass block than run protect. Here, it's just the opposite. These guys really like to run block.
They certainly do. Take a look at the yards rushing. Indianapolis, 141 yards. Green Bay doing nothing on the ground.
8 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the third period. Here's Pagel back to pass. The blitz is on, and John Anderson nails Pagel. The ball comes loose. And Fred Silver says the Packers get it back. John Anderson, blitzing from his left linebacking position, really nailed Mike Pagel.
Take a look at the left side of your screen and you'll see him coming in. Pagel should feel him coming, but he doesn't. His arm is up and the ball comes loose. Packers recover.
We'll be back. The coordinator for Green Bay with the glasses on. He calls the plays from the sideline. I can't imagine him calling 3 straight running plays again.
No way. Has to put the ball in the air.
Because the Packers are down by 17. It's Jesse Clark in motion. Look out, Dickey. He gets nailed from behind from Glasgow. Pass is thrown incomplete. Looks like it's complete to Eddie Lee Ivory. And the Colts just swarm all over him.
Well, you know, Dickey had Lofton on a quick out. I don't know why he didn't give it to him right now. Instead, he changes his mind and gets it off to Eddie Lee, who has no place to go, nowhere to run, and nowhere to hide.
Checking on other scores this afternoon. Washington leading Cleveland in the third quarter. Chicago over Minnesota by 13. Detroit over Miami by 3. Lions hanging on. Packers trying to get back into position to hang on. They're down by 17. Dickey is dropped. Second sack of the afternoon. This time Cliff Odom.
And a man who was a former great offensive lineman having problems all year long with his offensive line. Take a look at it right here. Odom up the middle. Dickey has no chance to set up and throw. Credit that to the offensive line. That sack.
The Packers have allowed 27 sacks going into today's ball game. First sack of the afternoon for Odom. Dickey's been sacked twice. 6 defensive backs in now for the Colts. 3 wide receivers for Green Bay. Dickey calling an audible. Flag goes down. Too much time, I believe. The Packers took too much time to get the play off.
Offense delayed. Number 12, 5 yards.
When it rains, it pours. Forrest Gregg must be about ready to pull out his hair. That is just a mental problem. It's hard enough when it's 3rd and 20. Now it's about 3rd and 25.
And the Packers, who got off to a bad start in the first half, have gotten off to a bad start in the second half. They have the ball at their 13-yard line. And the crowd here at the Hoosier Dome is starting to whoop it up for their defense. Again from the shotgun. Dickey throws. intended for Philip Epps, and it's ruled incomplete. So the little man couldn't come down with it. Philip Epps was disgusted with that pass reception being ruled incomplete, and so was Forrest Gregg.
Forrest Gregg is pointing to the ref saying, come on, it's in, it's in. The trials of being a head coach in the National Football League. Nothing is going right for the Packers now.
Forrest now just pleading for any kind of break. Joe Prokop.
He got a break and he didn't capitalize on the fumble.
Here's Prokop's punt. One of his best of the afternoon. Robbie Martin at the 46. Oh, and he's hit immediately, and there's a flag on the play. Robbie Martin hit by Mark Murphy. There's a flag that came out of that. Looked like a parachute that came down from the top of the Hoosier Dome here. Robbie Martin at the 46. Oh, and he's hit immediately, and there's a flag on the play. Robbie Martin hit by Mark Murphy. There's a flag that came out of that. Looked like a parachute that came down from the top of the Hoosier Dome here. Referee Fred Silva sorting things out.
On the run back, number 83, illegal block above the waist, in the back, 10 yards, first down.
Intended to, and this is how it happened, him making the tackle on Robbie Martin. So the Packers now have lost both their starting safeties. Mark Murphy, Tom Flynn, Darrell Jones replaces Murphy. So let's see if the Colts, John, go to work on that particular area of the Green Bay Packer defense. Here's a handoff to McMillan. He's tackled in the backfield by Brian Noble.
Brian Noble, of course, the man who took over early in the year for George Cumby. He's one of the big people. 5th round draft choice. And the gospel, according to Forrest Gregg, is that big people do it better in the NFL.
And that is the trend that's being set in the linebacking core around the league. You're starting to find more linebackers, 6'4", 6'5", 240, 250, who can really run.
Well, Noble 6'3", 250.
Perfect example. Here's Pagel rolling out. Good protection. Plenty of time. Throws. Complete to Busa. Busa gets into Green Bay territory. Tackled by Mark Lee. I like that play-action pass thing where he was actually a moving kind of pocket.
And you see all 91 and 59, all the linebackers standing around. They're in too short a zone. They didn't get any depth to help the defensive backs.
26 yards.
That play good enough for a first down. A little less than 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Colts leading the Packers 27-10, and Indianapolis looking for more. Mike Pagel at quarterback. Handoff to McMillan. McMillan going to the left side, picks up maybe a yard before Darrell Jones, who just replaced Mark Murphy, makes the tackle.
It was interesting talking to McMillan yesterday. You know, most running backs, they like the outside where there's a little room to roam and to do their thing, but McMillan told us he likes the challenge of running inside the guards and the tackles.
And there is an injured Packer, the best day of his career, over 100 yards.
And Jimmy came into the game with only 9 receptions for 148 yards, 1 touchdown. So he is having a great afternoon, as is Capers.
So Mark Murphy has come back in to replace his replacement in Darrell Jones. 2nd and 9, ball at the 33 of Green Bay. Here's Wansley inside the 30. Mike Douglas making the tackle. I'm really surprised at the way Indianapolis has handled the Packer defense.
He's pushing them around, and you know that Forrest Gregg demands one thing from his team. He wants them to be physically tough, intimidators. Boy, this afternoon, all the intimidation is being done by the guys in the blue uniforms. They are pushing the pack all around the field, and that must really hurt a man who played so physically when he played.
But you have to remember, the same thing happened to Detroit, done by the Colts. Pagel throws intended for Busa over his head. 3 minutes and 37 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Seattle leading the New York Jets 14-7 in the second half.
Jets hoping to rebound after losing to New England last year, and they've never beaten the Seattle Seahawks in 7 tries.
You talk about a jinx. You know that's what's over their head now. I can imagine some of the things being written about that jinx. But now, Raul Alegre is in. The ball will be spotted at the 38. This will be a 48-yard field goal attempt. He has the distance, but the accuracy is not there. 3:33 left to go. The Colts have a 17-point lead.
Type of coach. Schooled with Bill Walsh, Don Coryell, Dick Vermeil. More of a laid-back, easygoing type of coach.
The Packers have been laid back and have taken things rather easy this afternoon. That's why they're down 27-10. Now Dick is going to try and get him on the board. Back to pass. Throwing deep. Intended for Philip Epps. Epps is open. One of the toughest catches to make in pro football is a pass that goes right over your head. And that's what Philip Epps had to come up with and couldn't do it.
One of the catches you have to make to help your team get back. I know it's a tough catch, but Epps was there. His speed took him right by Eugene Daniel, and Dickey had the ball out there. If Epps makes that catch, the Packers are going in for a score and back in this ball game.
Indianapolis knows that Green Bay has to throw more and more. That's why they're going to start to play a lot of zone. 2nd and 10. The Colts going to man coverage now. This could really hurt him. Dickey, good protection. Throws. Complete to Lofton, who's wide open. Lofton gets to the 46-yard line. Nesby Glasgow makes the tackle.
Just a clear-out pattern. They send Epps deep. They take everyone with him. Lofton goes down about 8 yards, stops, and then just comes across the middle. He is wide open. Wisely, watch him after he catches the ball, Jim. He turns upfield to get that first down. He knows where the marker is.
One of the great things about Lofton is he'll make his presence felt at the beginning of the game, and sometimes you just kind of forget about him, and all of a sudden he'll make 4 or 5 catches in a row. Dickey. And he's sacked for the 3rd time this afternoon. This time, Donnell Thompson.
One of the problems Dickey has is immobility. Obviously, he's been around 15 years. He's been injured many, many times. He just can't get away from the rush and buy time. Watch him right here. The rush is on. A more mobile quarterback might have scrambled out of there and come up and found a receiver. Dickey can't do that. That's a real problem.
And that's a problem that Forrest Gregg is very much aware of. And as he told us yesterday, if he decides to make a change, he's going to go with Jim Zorn. Because Zorn, he says, can do some things that the Packers need. 6 defensive backs now in for the Colts. 2nd and 19. Garrett Ellis in motion. Dickey trying to move out. Throws into and out of the arms of Jesse Clark. So when Dickey is not being pressured and thrown for a sack, he's hit some of his receivers.
Good job of protection this time, Jim. Yeah, he had good time, but Johnny Cooks is all over Jesse Clark, and Clark can't come up with this ball. But he had good time to throw that ball.
And yeah, I wonder what's going through Jim Zorn's mind right now. He's a very intelligent individual. He talked to us yesterday in a very professional-like manner, knowing that he can do some things a little bit different. He told us, I can move around a little bit where Lynn Dickey can't. But now, ease off the pressure. Dickey from the shotgun. A handoff to Eddie Lee Ivory. Eddie Lee gets to the 46-yard line. Chris Scott, and he's still way short of the first down. And that will force Joe Prokop to come in and punt the ball and give it back over to the young Colts.
Time running out in the 3rd quarter. The idea there is to catch the defense. They're set for the pass to catch him off guard, hoping Eddie Lee Ivory can break it for the first down. No dice.
Prokop's longest punt this afternoon is 42 yards. Robbie Martin, who's been very busy this afternoon returning punts, is set to receive it. Not a very good punt. Martin at the 21-yard line. Flag goes down like a parachute. Robbie Martin is brought down at the 27-yard line. He's tackled there by Guy Prather. So the Colts will take over 1st and 10. But first, referee Fred Silva talking to side judge Dave Perry. We get the preliminary call as we have 1 minute and 27 seconds.
On the receiving team, holding at the line of scrimmage after the ball was kicked. Be 10 yards, 1st down.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Colts. But coming up next, this is a must-win situation for the defending world champion 49ers as they visit Anaheim Stadium to take on the unbeaten Rams. That's coming up next right after our game, the second half of our doubleheader, except here in Indianapolis.
Well, haven't the Rams been doing it with defense? Allowed the fewest points in the NFL, only 89. But you know what? Well, I think the Rams are going to lose.
We'll find out the second half of our doubleheader immediately following this game. Here's McMillan, who's hit behind the line of scrimmage by John Anderson.
Great penetration by John Anderson. He just came on the blitz, and the Packers now have nothing to lose. They're losing by 17, so they just come with their defense. And you know what? The Colts,
like they can see the light at the end of the tunnel, that they can be a pretty good football team. 2nd and 13. Pagel hands off to McMillan, and he breaks free. Randy McMillan. Pumped out of bounds at midfield by Mike Lee. Tell you what, if Mark Lee doesn't come over and dump him out of bounds, he goes for a long score.
watch the left side, the left side of that offensive line, right side of your screen. They just bang the Packers back off the ball. Great blocking. And then McMillan turns it on. You have to wonder if his ankle weren't bothering him a little bit, whether he would have been able to turn on those extra jets and take it up the sideline.
Remember Alan the Horse Salici.
And Lenny Moore, the old Colts of the glory days.
Well, the young Colts of these days are having some good running sessions this afternoon. That played good for 35 yards.
And they're doing it without Curtis Dickey, the man they once called a franchise around here.
And it looked like the Packers jumped off sides again. Donnie Humphrey, number 79.
Offense. Ball start. 5 yards.
Ben Utt.
Timeout.
Downs, beating the good ones, losing to the bad ones. The Colts leading the Packers. 47 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Mike Pagel. Plenty of time to throw it. Down the middle. And it is complete. Mark Boyer, a rookie from the University of Southern California.
You know, Mike Pagel doesn't show any of the nervousness, the tentativeness that he showed talking to us yesterday. More secure at his position. Watch here, he delivers the ball on the line to a wide open receiver in that zone. Boyer makes the catch for the first down. But, you know, with Sleester gone, the job is really Mike Pagel's now.
And one of the things he told us yesterday, if we control the line of scrimmage on first downs, he said, we're going to win this thing. Well, they're in good position right now. 5 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Randy McMillan. And that's the end of the third quarter. The Colts, as we begin the fourth quarter, the Colts have the ball. 2nd and 8 at the Packer 33-yard line. Pagel throws quick. Hit at the line of scrimmage by Pat Beach, and he makes an unbelievable catch. Tempers break out, but oh, what an unbelievable catch by Pat Beach if they give him credit for it. And Mark Lee is totally frustrated because Lee has already had one interception taken away from him this afternoon.
That has to be one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. Take a look at it yourself, folks. He tips it up with one hand. He has Lee draped all over him, and then he makes the catch.
And Pagel doing a great job reading the blitz. That's just total concentration on the ball.
Look at the concentration and strength with a guy hanging all over you to say, get out of here and keep your arms up there when the defensive back is dragging your arm down.
They actually had the ball behind his head and still pulled it in.
Spectacular catch by Beach.
1st and 10, ball at the 22-yard line of Green Bay. Colts on the move. Here's the handoff. One play again. Colts doing just what they want to do. And that is run, run, run. Tackle made by Charles Martin. Matt Buzek has a sprained right knee. And we're told that he will not return this afternoon. He's caught passes so far over 100 yards. And what a big part of the offense he has been.
It's kind of ironic. He gets his first start. He goes over 100 yards and he gets injured in the game. That's a shame.
You don't have to worry, Matt. Rod Dahlhauer knows what you can do now. Toss back to Wansley again. Still on his feet, scrambling down to the 10-yard line. Charles Martin makes the tackle.
And you get the feeling that the blockering, watch number 53, Mike Douglas. He takes on this block. He catches the block. He does not attack the blocker. Right there, 32, McMillan on him. The cutback by Wansley inside for good yardage. And, you know, remember talking to Douglas, he said, you know, Forrest has issued some serious challenges to us. The kind of challenges, if you don't take them seriously, you may be long gone. Packers aren't taking the challenges seriously.
And what McMillan told us is very true. They want to attack Mike Douglas, and that's what they've done so far in several running situations. Here's Wansley again. Tries to get to the outside, but there was a hole there, and all of a sudden it just closed down on him. That's almost that.
Oh, my goodness.
Sometimes you look at things and you say that's a typographical error, but that's unbelievable.
Total domination by Indianapolis. 420 yards against a Forrest Gregg team. A man who demands intensity. He's not getting it from his team this afternoon.
Well, I've been in similar situations being coached by Forrest Gregg. I guarantee you, sometimes it might be best for you to take a different flight back home. Second and 9. Ball at the 9-yard line. Pagel back. Throws into the end zone. Ray Butler. The man who did not get his starting assignment this week told me quite frankly yesterday that he thought that he was being benched. He thought that he was being used as a scapegoat.
They say he juggled the ball. Mostly Cade is covering. They're saying he was juggling the ball as he was going out of bounds. Very hard to see that. But take a look at it. One more time. Butler, quick takeoff. Watch it right there. Appears to have it. And then Cade gets his right hand in there. Looks like it proves touchdown.
We were a little screened on that play. It looked like it could have bobbled just a little bit, but I tell you what a super throw by Pagel. Oh, that was a great throw. And a heck of an effort then by Butler.
It looked like he had it in his hands for a moment. Remember, to have a reception, he has to have both feet on the ground. Take a look at it again. He goes up, catches it in his hands. Now, in order to be the reception, he has to have both feet on the ground after the catch. Cade makes a good play to knock it away. And the boos are from folks here who did not like that call.
Reed, 11:49.
Mike Pagel brings his young Colts back up to the line of scrimmage. They missed on one touchdown. They're going to try and get it again. Control play to McMillan. Inside the 5-yard line. Charles Martin making the tackle for Green Bay. Colt fans want them to go for it.
The crowd wanted a
The crowd is
touchdown.
booing because they want the Colts to go for the touchdown, but Raul Alegre comes in instead to attempt a field goal. Alegre has been successful this afternoon on field goal attempts of 24 and 27 yards. This one will be placed at the 13, which will make it a 23-yard field goal attempt. Oh, there's that dancing we were looking for. Raul Alegre had a lot of success playing teams in the NFC Central Division. They beat Detroit. They're upsetting the Green Bay Packers right now, but I wonder if they'd like to take on those monsters of the Midway.
You know, they have to take on the Chicago Bears later in the season in December. We'll see how much he likes the NFC Central then.
He likes what he's seen so far. The scoring drive, 11 plays, 78 yards, 5 minutes and 21 seconds. Alegre another field goal. And Alegre kicks off. It's Gary Ellerson at the 1-yard line. Ellerson gets to the outside. He gets to the 23-yard line, and that's where Green Bay will take over first and 10. Tackle made by Dave Aherns. Matt Kofler is warming up on the sidelines now for the Colts. We were told yesterday by Rod Dalhauer that he wants to get a look at Kofler so he can find out exactly what he has in store with him. He's a high draft choice.
Of course, Kofler, the man they got from Buffalo, and they really cleared up the quarterback controversy when they let Art Schlichter go a few weeks back. So now it's Pagel and Kofler.
But the Packers have quarterback problems this afternoon. Lynn Dickey, 3 interceptions, 30-10. The Colts lead. Dickey gets hit as he throws. It's intercepted. Preston Davis. The 4th interception of the afternoon thrown by Lynn Dickey. Totally frustrated, mad, and I'm wondering if Forrest Gregg is starting to think.
He'd have to be starting to think, because that time Dickey wants to just throw it up over the top and hit Epps. He comes up short, and Davis with the interception. Take a look. He just doesn't get it over Davis's head like he wanted to. Davis made a good play, but there really wasn't enough room between Davis and the safety to get that ball in there. He tried to force it in. And Forrest Gregg has to be wondering, do I come with Jim Zorn?
Right now, Forrest Gregg has to be wondering, what's Mike Pagel and the Colts going to come with? But Kofler has come in. We get our first look at him this afternoon. Hand off to Randy McMillan up the middle. So Kofler is a young man from San Diego State in his 4th year. And even though Rod Dalhauer comes from a passing-oriented background, he knows that he has to build a defense. But he told us yesterday, we have to get a good look at Kofler. We want to find out what he can do.
You know, this past draft, the Indianapolis Colts relied on defense. Next draft will be offense. They'll look for a wide receiver. They may look for a quarterback, depending upon what they see from Kofler and depending upon how Pagel does for the rest of the year.
So Kofler knows that he has to do something to impress Dalhauer, so don't think that they're going to go in their shell. He has a passing arm, and he wants to show it off, too. But it won't be this time as McMillan gets the ball again. First contact is made by Randy Scott. So Mike Pagel, if that was his diary, he could say, "Dear diary, had a pretty good day against the Packers.
Would that I could have more like this one."
Love, Mike.
Yes.
But now Matt Kofler, hoping that at the end of the day, he can go to his diary and write some good things.
You know, Matt Kofler has yet to throw a pass for the Indianapolis Colts.
9 minutes, 25 seconds left to go in the ball game. Matt Kofler at quarterback for the Colts. Hands off to Randy McMillan. 22 carries for McMillan, the most he's carried in a ball game in his career. And doing an excellent job. He got away from 2 potential tacklers in.
McMillan's just an all-purpose fullback. Take a look at him. He has strength, he has speed, he has toughness. You get an idea of why they drafted him #1 back in 1981 out of Pittsburgh. 12th player overall. He has talent. The reason he hasn't carried as much as you might think is because Curtis Dickey was the featured back in the Colts offense.
The reason for the boos is that Dalhauer has sent in Allegre again. And I can understand the frustration of the crowd here. The Colts have only won 2 games. The crowd really wants them to score as many points as they can.
And a crowd in a city that's really supported the Colts. 60,000. This place is sold out every week. They have 40,000 waiting list for seats. And that's in a town that only has a little over 1 million people. So Indianapolis loves their Colts.
Allegre, a 44-yard field goal attempt. And it's blocked. Blocked at the line of scrimmage. Blocked by Rich Moran. So one of the few things that the Packers have is Kofler is back warming up once again after the 44-yard field goal attempt was blocked by Rich Moran. Wonder what Kofler's thinking over on the sideline. You know, he wants to get in. He wants to impress everyone. He'll get another shot at it. But first, it's Lynn Dickey and the Packers trailing by 20 points. 8:44 left to go in the ball game. Eddie the Ivory, Jesse Clark in the backfield. Dickey back to pass. Throws. Intended for James Lofton, and a beautiful defensive effort by Eugene Daniel. Eugene's been all over the field today. The second-year man from LSU. A couple of interceptions and a good knockdown in. Other scores this afternoon. It is Houston leading St. Louis 13-10 in the fourth quarter. Chicago over Minnesota in the final. Chicago looking to be 8-0 if they hang on, and it appears that they will. Dallas big over Atlanta in the fourth quarter. Seattle hanging on in the fourth quarter over the Jets. Buffalo really hanging on over Philadelphia in the fourth quarter. Here's Dickey back to pass again. Has time, throws into and out of the arms of James Lofton. It's being ruled incomplete.
Well, Anthony Young grabbed the ball, had it for a moment, then Lofton had it again and must have hit the ground between all of that. It changed hands about 3 different times.
Well, Lynn Dickey and his receivers have had all kinds of bad luck this afternoon.
Take a look at it again. Lofton has it for a moment, okay? And then Young has it for a moment, but it does hit the ground.
As has the passing attack of the Packers. It has been grounded this afternoon. Looks like Lofton is a little injured. Checking his right elbow. Dickey wants to see if his right elbow can be in passing operation, and he throws intended for Philip Epps, and it is a reception. And our first final of the afternoon, Denver over the Kansas City Chiefs, 30-10, which ironically is our score here with 8:26 left to go in the final period.
Denver staying on top of that Western Division in the AFC.
That play good for 21 yards and a first down. So now you're looking at an almost passing on every down situation by Green Bay. Dickey has good protection, but he closes down all of a sudden. Dwayne Pickett blitzing from his outside linebacking position. As Dickey had time, receivers covered. Pickett came in and hit Lynn Dickey just as he was releasing the ball.
And you have to credit the defense of the Baltimore Colts. They came into this game with only a total of 12 takeaways, 6 interceptions, and 6 fumble recoveries. But this afternoon, they've picked on Lynn Dickey all afternoon. Picked on and picked off.
They've done an excellent job. 8:19 to go. Dickey throwing deep. Going for Philip Epps. Almost intercepted by Preston Davis. So here's where, from a defensive back standpoint, you have a lot of fun. You know they're going to throw. You've had 3 interceptions already, 4.
And that's good ball reaction by Preston Davis. And one of the criticisms of the Baltimore Colts coming into this game was that their cornerbacks played too soft. They wouldn't come up and play tight man-to-man. They wouldn't play tight zone. This afternoon, they've been spectacular. Daniel, a couple of interceptions. Davis, some great plays. And overall, defensive effort has really been a superior one for the Colts.
And remember, the reason for that, they're good linebacking corps. It's allowed them to play off just a little bit more and to play tight when they want to. From the shotgun. Dickey going across the middle again. Intended for Preston Denard, but another great effort in the secondary by the Colts. This time, Leonard Coleman knocks it away.
And Leonard Coleman's an interesting story. He will eventually be a starter for the Colts. He was their #1 draft choice back in '84, decided to go to the USFL. Now he's back. He's getting in form, and he's going to really help the secondary of the Colts. Why not go for it on 4th? You have nothing to lose. You're down by 20 points. Hey, put it up and see if you can get a first down.
8 minutes left. You certainly can't give it up. You've got to go. On 4th and 10. Ball at the 44-yard line of Indianapolis. Lynn Dickey from the shotgun. They have 3 wide receivers. The Colts with the blitz. Dickey throws. Complete to Preston Denard. And Denard has enough yardage for the first down. So Preston Denard giving it the clenched fist. As if to say, that's what I like to see. And Forrest Gregg also watching the play. One of the few things that he's seen this afternoon that really pleases him. All right, let's go.
Man is looking for any silver lining in this game, which hasn't had much of one for the Packers.
Dark cloud has been the roof here at the Hoosier Dome, as far as Green Bay is concerned. 1st and 10 at the 28. Dickey blitz. Dickey throwing for Lofton. Knocked away. Eugene Daniel again.
What can you say about Eugene Daniel? He's just playing spectacular ball. He was an 8th-round draft choice a year ago, and he's just playing wonderful. Look at his ball reaction. Goes up, knocks the ball away, and almost comes up with an interception. And God, Lofton and Dickey said, oh, had I thrown that ball just a little bit further out over the top, I might have had a score.
Because that's not the first time this afternoon that Dickey has had a man open and the ball was either too long or at that particular time too short. 2nd and 10 at the 28 of Indianapolis. Play action pass. Dickey throwing for Lofton. Trying to make a one-handed catch, and it is incomplete. Eugene Daniel again defending.
And Lofton put that left hand up. This was a good throw. He almost pulls it in one-handed right here. But look at that position by Eugene Daniel all over Lofton. That's the incompletion. And you know, I think it goes back to early, Jim. Dickey had some people open early in this game. He didn't capitalize. Green Bay couldn't find their rhythm. He threw a couple of interceptions. The Colts capitalized, and he hasn't been able to get back in this game.
Certainly has not. And when you think of Eugene Daniel, they've wanted him 2 or 3 times in a row, and he's met the challenge. That's tough on a defensive guy. 3rd and 10, again from the shotgun. Dickey, complete to Preston Denard, and he loses the ball. And it's Eugene Daniel who comes up with it. Look at the little guy go. From LSU in his 2nd year, couple of interceptions, couple of passes batted away. Excellent coverage.
Dickey went to the right man. Denard was in the slot. Number 47, Leonard Coleman, was covering him, but he was trailing. But watch what all good defensive backs do. After the catch is made, they rip those arms away, and that's what he did to Denard. And Daniel comes up with the recovery. And another turnover for the Packers. The story of this ball game.
He's made the highlight film many times this afternoon. What a great job he's done.
He's had a career in the afternoon.
7 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the game. Colter back in. Hand off to McMillan up the middle. So now you know obviously what the Colts want to do.
And they do that best. They run the ball and ground out the clock.
Eugene, you have a lot to be proud of this afternoon.
3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. Coming into this game, Eugene had 2 interceptions. Now he has a total of 5 on the year. What an afternoon.
Eugene Daniel with the hat trick this afternoon. 7:10 left to go in the ball game. Colts on top of the Packers, 30-10. Toss back to Wansley. Wansley to the 47-yard line. Mike Douglas making the tackle. Don't forget, you folks stay right where you are. Coming up right after this ball game, it's the San Francisco 49ers against the Los Angeles Rams in Anaheim, California. A must-win situation for the 49ers, who trail in the NFC's Western Division.
Let me put you on the spot. Your brother David plays for the Rams. Your cousin Gary Green is having a great year at cornerback. How do they feel about the game against San Francisco?
Well, they've been looking for this game ever since they beat Kansas City last week. On the way back on the plane, that's all they talk about. We're going after the 49ers.
49ers beat them twice last year. I wonder if they can do it again today.
We'll find out right after our ball game, except here in Indianapolis. It's Kofer going back to pass. He wants to impress Rod Dowhauer, but he doesn't get to impress anyone as Charles Martin makes the tackle, and there is a flag on the play. You know, when you think about the game coming up, the 49ers, you talk about the roller coaster this year, and they haven't gotten good performances from their defense, which really carried them to the Super Bowl victory last year. Montana has had the flu. He's been off the better part of the season.
And you talk about Super Bowl jinx.
Offense, number 66. Holding. Defensive holding on the tight end. Offset. Replay, 3rd down.
And let's check some scores while we get ready for the next play. The Jets have taken the lead, John, by 3.
Talk about jinxes. The Jets may break that jinx.
And here it is, Houston over St. Louis, 20-10.
Oh, St. Louis is a jinx team this year.
And Tampa Bay, well, what can you say?
How can you do that?
They almost beat the Dolphins last week, but now here they are.
They almost beat the Rams. They almost beat the Rams, the Bears. Yep. You talk about jinxes. How can a team who was 18-1 last year like San Francisco just fall apart so quickly?
Well, everybody has been up for them. The Rams are up for them this afternoon. We'll see that game right after hours here. 6:13 left to go. Koffler. Complete to McMillan. And he's forced out of bounds by John Anderson. And it looks like McMillan may be a little slow in getting up.
He's had those ankle problems. Remember, we talked to him yesterday about it. He said it was just about 90-95%, and he may have sprained it a little bit right there.
And McMillan comes out, and Owen Gill comes in to replace him. Another final this afternoon. Washington behind Joe Theismann winning. Chicago about to run their record to 8-0. And next week, those undefeated Chicago Bears take on these same Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. There are flags on the play. As Charles Martin again. He's been involved in more than one offside penalty this afternoon. Let's see if referee Fred Silva calls it that way.
Defense, 94. Encroachment, 5 yards, 1st and 5.
And he does. 6 minutes and 7 seconds left to go. The Indianapolis Colts jumping out to a 14-0 lead. They lead 30-10. And their next 5 games for the Colts.
A couple of tough ones in there. The Jets ahead of Seattle. They would be 6-2 if they hold on. And look at Miami.
They have New England twice in the next 5 weeks, and we know that the Patriots can throw the ball, along with playing Kansas City. Handoff right up the middle. George Wansley, as the clock ticks down, under 6 minutes now left to go in the ball game. Donnie Humphrey and Randy Scott making the tackle for the Packers. But Matt Koffler knows that he knows he's on the spot, and he knows that he has to produce.
But he also knows that Ron Dowhauer wants to get a look at him. He was a high draft choice, number 2 back in '82 for Buffalo. So someone thought a lot of Matt Koffler. He was let go, traded here to Indianapolis, and who knows? Dowhauer says, well, maybe he will be our quarterback of the future. We have to find out.
Blitz is on. Throws. Complete to Wayne Capers. And Koffler, he really took a lick in from Randy Scott.
He certainly did, but a mark of a good quarterback is to stand in there against the rush. Scott up the middle. Bingo pulls him down. The ball wobbles a little bit, but still very, very soft coverage. Take a look at it again. The hit he takes right there, pulling down. Someone gets on top of him again, number 71 on top. But you know what? He hung in there.
It's amazing how many completions quarterbacks make that they don't even see. 1st and 10, the 24-yard line of Green Bay. Hopefully going back for more. Throwing deep. Here's Butler again. Defended there by Mark Lee.
He really did turn him around on that pass. Had the ball been over the outside shoulder, Butler might have had a shot at it. Take a look at it again, but Butler has to turn his head right there. Can't find the ball. Pretty good coverage by Lee.
Because when he turned to the... There was a flag on the play, holding against the Colts. Like you said, when Butler turned to his right, he turned right into Lee. We have 4 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in the final period. The Indianapolis Colts leading the Packers 30-10, as they have executed extremely well this afternoon, while the Packers have not. It's a handoff to Wansley. Wansley darting to the outside, picking up a yard at the most before he's tackled by Randy Scott and Mike Douglas.
What an interesting story. George Wansley is talking to him yesterday about how his brother Otis, you look at that, the E is gone from his uniform. Someone ripped it off. Talking about his brother Otis, helping him and teaching him in the backyard how to play. Of course, Otis, a good running back for Washington. But his family of 6 running backs. Remember what he said about his mother? Originally, his mother didn't want any of them to play football, but now Since they've been so successful, she takes their youngest brother, Robert, to junior high school practices.
I can identify with that. I remember my mother didn't want me to play, but she took my brother David to practice after she saw what it can do for you.
Success will do that to you.
Handoff right up the middle. And the Packers. Now you see, this is really silly, I think, now. You got 3.5 minutes to go. Sure, you're totally frustrated and you haven't played well. But now, those energies that you are exerting now, trying to start a fight, maybe should have been exerted earlier in the game when things were on the line.
Jim, I agree with you, but you have to wonder how much that loss on Monday night took out of the Packers. It was a very physical game. We laughed about the refrigerator, running in there and taking on Cumbie for a touchdown and blocking for Peyton, but it was physical. Packers came out of it nicked, and they really haven't played with intensity this afternoon.
3rd and 19. From the shotgun. Stops, throws, has Capers again. He has it. He scores. .33 yards. Wayne Capers with his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. And his first touchdown pass of the afternoon from Matt Koeffler.
Koeffler had time. He throws it to the outside. Defensive back is late getting there. Capers makes the catch. And for a man who only had 1 touchdown in 2 years at Pittsburgh, what an afternoon for Wayne Capers. Yes, with the big spike.
Forrest Gregg is getting his thoughts together. And I tell you, once again, for some guys, it might be better just to take another plane ride back, maybe even shower in someone else's dressing room. But it's not going to be pleasant in the Packer locker room. Allegre converts on. I had a good time in the 4th quarter. Love Matt.
He certainly did it. Mike Pago on the other side of the field. Contrast, a depressed veteran. What a poor afternoon Lynn Dickey's had.
He certainly doesn't want to write anything in his diary except horrible. Koeffler, 3 for 3, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. That one of 33 yards for Wayne Capers. Capers has scored 3 times this afternoon. He's had a marvelous day. Here's Allegre's kickoff. Walter Stanley at the 2-yard line. He does some jitterbugging around, but he goes nowhere as he's tackled at the 18-yard line. We have an upset for you. It is Detroit upsetting the Miami Dolphins, 31-21. Lions upset San Francisco. They do it again today. Philadelphia comes back to avoid the upset, defeating Buffalo 21-17. And here, 2 minutes and 41 seconds to go. The Colts leading the Packers 37-10. Matt Koeffler and Mike Pago talking to each other. They're all smiles. Getting a congratulations right there from Allegre. Meanwhile, the Packers just want to get this thing over with. Here's Harlan Huckabee. Huckabee gets to the 30-yard line before he's tackled by Nesby Glasgow. Don't forget, as the Packers hustle up in the 2-minute offense, it's the Rams and 49ers right after our game, except here in Indianapolis. Dickey from the shotgun. Into and out of the hands of Gary Ellerson.
And it won't get any easier next week for the Green Bay Packers. Last week they played Chicago on Monday night. They were beaten up pretty badly, although they did have opportunities. Same thing here this afternoon. They had opportunities, but look at this, Jim. Next 5 games, Chicago next week. Chicago now 8-0 after their victory this afternoon. Minnesota battling a tough club. Then New Orleans, and then the Rams 7-0 have to take on the 49ers after this game right here on CBS, except here in Indianapolis.
Dickey throws across the middle, completed to Paul Kaufman. And then, you're looking at those 5 games, they have to play Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay may be winless, but they have been able to scare a lot of people. First down for the Packers. Dickey again from the shotgun. Throws across the middle. Here's Kaufman again. Kaufman tackled by Leonard Coleman.
It's ironic. Jim Zorn, actually the 2 teams he thought about signing with were the Green Bay Packers, who he eventually signed with, and the Indianapolis Colts. Remember, he was telling us yesterday those were the 2 teams, but Green Bay was going to give him an opportunity, so he went there.
He also said the Packers offered him a 1-year deal, whereas the Colts offered him a 3-year deal. Kind of odd. You would turn down 3 years for one, but he wants to prove something and then get back out on the open market. Here's Dickey from the shotgun. He's thrown 4 interceptions this afternoon. This one is complete to Harlan Huckabee. Huckabee twists and turns. Gets to the 39-yard line before he's tackled by Preston Davis. Well, the Buccaneers are still winless. The New England Patriots win 32-14.
You have to wonder when Tampa Bay is going to come with Steve Young at quarterback.
Minute 29 left to go. There's a whistle on the play, flags, as Huckabee ends up with the ball. But a minute and 27 seconds left to go in our ball game, but don't go away. It's the defending world champions taking on the unbeaten Los Angeles Rams in Anaheim, California. Right after our ball game here on CBS, except here in Indianapolis. The young Colts have done an excellent job this afternoon in all aspects of the game. There'll be some celebrating in their locker room in a minute and 25 seconds. As Nesby Glasgow knocks down a pass intended for Paul Kaufman. I mean, when you get a chance to have a lot of fun, which the Colts haven't, they're going to go every play they can.
And they're a very young team trying to figure out what they're about and figure out if they're a good team, whether they're respectable, whether they can be competitive. And this has really been, I mean, for Murphy and the Packers, this has been a discouraging. We talked to him beforehand. I mean, a loss like this would make your hair fall out.
Well, obviously with him, it has already. Just joking about that. Here's Dickey again. Intended for Lofton, and it's knocked away. There's a flag on the play as Anthony Young comes over to knock the pass down.
Defense, number 37, pass interference, first down.
And Jim, you know what impresses me most is that Anthony Young and the defensive secondary were spectacular this afternoon. And, you know, we talk about that game coming up. Of course, one of the best secondaries in all of football now has to be Gary Green, Leroy Irvin and company for the Rams. Do you think they can handle the 49ers with Clark and Rice in Montana?
Well, we'll find out in about a minute and 17 seconds, because you'll be able to see that game right here on CBS, except here in Indianapolis. Here's Dickey again from the shotgun. Throws. Intended for Harlan Huckabee, and Leonard Coleman almost came up with the interception. It's amazing about that second game. You know, many people trying to pick who they think is their favorite. As far as I'm concerned, you know, it's a toss-up. And there have been some lines that have even favored the 49ers by a point.
Which is amazing when you consider the Rams at home. My feeling is that the 49ers have to come out of their funk sooner or later. And now's the time, because if they lose, they're going to be further behind the Rams.
Here's a first quarter score. The Saints leading the Giants. Rams and San Francisco immediately after our ball game. We have a minute and 12 seconds left to go. Take it from the shotgun again. Throws complete to Kaufman. There is a flag on the play as Leonard Coleman makes the tackle. This young, aggressive secondary for the Colts, I mean, what they're doing right now is they're really building up their own confidence, because they know that the Packers have fine wide receivers and tight ends. And if you can shut these people down, then there's really room not only for improvement, but you can feel good about yourself. Roger Craig has gone in for a touchdown in the first quarter as the 49ers lead the Rams 7-0. You'll be able to see that game right after hours. A minute and 5 seconds left.
Defense, number 47. It's accepted because it's 5 yards and an automatic first down.
So Leonard Coleman is called for the penalty.
You know, Jimmy just mentioned Roger Craig going in for San Francisco, and you know the Rams aren't the kind of team that can play catch-up football, or they haven't been able up till now. Their defense has really carried them to their 7-0 season so far.
And I'd be willing to bet you that the Rams are going to see some plays today that they haven't seen before. You know, Bill Walsh is good for doing that. Inside handoff to Gary Ellison. He fumbles the ball. And the Colts get it back and make the lateral up. I don't even have to tell you who ends up with it. Number 38, Eugene Daniel.
Eugene Daniel, 3 interceptions, second fumble recovery. What an afternoon he's having. And Take a look at it right here. I mean, it's just symptomatic of the entire day for the Packers. The fumble. And who else? Daniel. Looked like a forward lateral there, but referees are talking about it. Who really cares at this point? 37-10, Colts over the Packers. 55 seconds left.
You know, after the interception, we have an illegal forward pass by Indianapolis to 5 yards, but it'll be a first down.
And think about that Eugene Daniel right there. Oh, I tell you, he has a good run already, making a good run for maybe Player of the Week. You have to consider that performance like that.
What an afternoon he's had.
Less than a minute to go. I wouldn't want to be in the Packer locker room after this game for anything in the world. There's a handoff to Owen Gill. He gets across the 30 to the 33-yard line. John Anderson making the tackle.
I'd say Forrest Gregg just wants to get this game over with. He has timeouts left 3, but he's not going to use them. He said, hey, let's get out of here. Let's try to regroup because next week we have the Chicago Bears. Talk about going from the frying pan into the fire.
That's right, and the Bears take on the same Green Bay Packers. You'll be able to see it here. The Bears are 8-0, so the Bears will be favored as they defeat the Minnesota Vikings. And it is the final here as there are now 10 seconds left on the clock. The Indianapolis Colts getting a standing ovation. The final score, the Colts 37, the Packers 10. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.